Abigail was a resident who lived a solitary life in the attic of a small town. She had experienced a childhood tragedy, losing her parents and becoming an orphan. From that point on, she always kept her distance from others, seeking solace in the seclusion of the attic. Her only companion was the mysterious shadow that dwelled there. Abigail carried the weight of her past within her, unable to forget the painful memories that haunted her. She chose to isolate herself, avoiding any significant interaction with the outside world. Instead, she found solace in the company of the shadow that always seemed to be by her side. Inside the attic, remnants of the past cluttered the space, triggering occasional nostalgic recollections. Abigail would spend hours looking at old books and paintings, immersing herself in the world they represented. Whenever the shadow appeared next to her, she would offer a warm smile and engage in quiet conversation. "We've spent so much time together in this attic," Abigail would say, her voice filled with gratitude. "With you here, I never feel truly alone." "Thank you." The shadow, silent yet present, would nod in response, its presence offering comfort to Abigail's lonely heart. It became her confidant, a steadfast presence in the face of her self-imposed isolation. From her small attic window, Abigail would gaze out at the world beyond. During the day, she observed the lively bustle of the town, with people going about their lives, children playing with laughter echoing through the streets. But as night fell, a profound stillness enveloped the town, blanketed by the darkness that crept in. Abigail found solace in these quiet moments, her conversations with the shadow becoming a source of anticipation and joy. "Tomorrow, the town will have its festival," she would say, her eyes fixated on the distant lights. "I enjoy watching everyone revel in the festivities. Although I cannot join them, I find solace in watching from here." The shadow remained a steadfast presence, offering Abigail a sense of companionship she had longed for. Through the passage of time, the bond between Abigail and the shadow grew stronger, transcending their unique circumstances. Little did Abigail know that soon, their relationship would take an eerie turn, forever altering the course of her solitary existence. That night, Abigail returned to the attic, the weight of anticipation hanging heavy in the air. As she gazed out of the window, the distant city lights flickered in the darkness, casting an ethereal glow. However, something felt different, sending a shiver down her spine. The shadow, her steadfast companion, exhibited an unsettling change. Gradually, the shadow's movements became peculiar and disquieting. It writhed and slithered along the walls, traversing the floor with an unnerving grace. Each twist and contortion of its form instilled a sense of unease within Abigail. Trembling with a mixture of fear and curiosity, she found herself unable to tear her eyes away from the grotesque display. Inexplicably, the shadow began to grow, expanding in size and altering its shape. Abigail's breath caught in her throat as she witnessed this grotesque transformation unfold before her eyes. The once familiar companion morphed into something unfamiliar and foreboding. Fear coursed through her veins as the shadow, now resembling a distorted figure, reached out towards her. It extended long, wispy tendrils in her direction, as if drawn to her presence. Abigail's heart raced, her mind consumed with terror, yet she remained unable to tear herself away from the chilling spectacle unfolding in the attic. The darkness of the room seemed to intensify as the shadow's menacing presence drew closer. It became an embodiment of her deepest fears, a haunting entity that defied all comprehension. Abigail was trapped, held captive by her own dread, unable to escape the clutches of the twisted shadow. Desperation engulfed her as she realized that her once comforting companion had become a sinister force, intent on consuming her very being. The walls of the attic seemed to close in, suffocating her with a suffocating sense of impending doom. Abigail's voice caught in her throat as she tried to scream, but the sound remained trapped within her, stifled by the malevolent presence that held her captive. In the attic's depths, Abigail succumbed to a sense of despair, a feeling of helplessness that enveloped her entirely. The shadow had become her captor, binding her to a fate entwined with darkness. Little did she know that this encounter was just the beginning of a nightmarish journey, one that would forever alter the course of her existence. Days turned into nights, and Abigail found herself trapped in the depths of the attic. The once familiar space had transformed into a prison of fear and uncertainty. With each passing moment, the shadow's eerie presence loomed over her, a constant reminder of the darkness that had consumed her world. Abigail's mind raced with questions, her thoughts intertwined with fear and confusion. What had caused the shadow to change? Why had it turned into a malevolent force that held her captive? She knew she had to confront the darkness that had taken hold of her sanctuary. Summoning her courage, Abigail ventured further into the depths of the attic, where the shadows were deepest. The air grew heavy, and a cold chill ran down her spine. As she pressed on, the faint glow of a solitary lantern caught her eye, beckoning her towards it. Approaching the lantern, Abigail noticed a faint inscription etched into its metal casing. It read, "In darkness lies the key to salvation." The word sent a chill through her, yet she felt a glimmer of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. Guided by the faint light of the lantern, Abigail began to unravel the attic secrets. Dust-covered books and forgotten relics whispered stories of forgotten lives. Among them, she discovered a weathered journal, its pages filled with the tales of past inhabitants who had encountered the shadow's wrath. With each entry, Abigail's understanding deepened. The attic had become a sanctuary not only for her, but for countless others who had fallen victim to the shadow's malevolence. Their stories spoke of sacrifice, of battles fought against the darkness, and the price they had paid. Armed with this knowledge, Abigail resolved to confront the shadow head-on. She would not let it hold her captive any longer. She would find a way to break free from its grip, to reclaim her sanctuary and restore the light that had been snuffed out. As the night stretched on, Abigail prepared herself for the ultimate confrontation. The lantern's feeble glow offered a glimmer of hope amidst the oppressive darkness. She knew that the battle would be arduous, that the shadow would fight back with all its might, but she refused to surrender to its power. Taking a deep breath, Abigail stepped into the heart of the attic, her determination piercing through the veil of fear. The shadow stirred, sensing her presence, and its malevolence intensified. Yet, with the knowledge of those who had come before her, she summoned her inner strength. In the attic's depths, a battle of light against darkness commenced. Abigail's courage flickered like a candle flame, casting its glow into the darkest recesses of her sanctuary. The shadow, enraged and threatened by her resilience, fought back with swirling tendrils of darkness. Exhausted but determined, Abigail rose from her knees, the remnants of the battle still lingering in the air. The attic, once a place of confinement and fear, now held the promise of redemption. With renewed purpose, she embarked on a quest to uncover the truth behind the shadow's existence and bring peace to those who had suffered before her. Searching through the attic's forgotten artifacts, Abigail discovered a hidden compartment beneath a dusty floorboard. Inside, she found a collection of journals, each one chronicling the encounters of previous inhabitants with the enigmatic shadow. As she delved into the pages, she discovered a recurring theme, a tale of pain, sacrifice, and the battle against an ancient curse that had plagued the attic for generations. The shadow, it seemed, was no ordinary entity but a manifestation of past tragedies and unresolved grievances. Driven by a newfound determination, Abigail became determined to break the cycle and free both herself and the attic from the shadow's grasp. She sought guidance from the journals, studying the accounts of those who had come before her, gleaning fragments of wisdom and hints of a potential solution. One journal spoke of a ritual, a forgotten rite passed down through generations. It detailed a ceremony that could sever the shadow's hold on the attic, but it required a delicate balance of light, courage, and sacrifice. Abigail's heart pounded with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. She knew that to banish the shadow once and for all, she would need to confront her deepest fears and make a selfless sacrifice. The thought sent chills down her spine, but she knew it was a necessary step on her path to redemption. Armed with the knowledge gleaned from the journals, Abigail meticulously prepared for the ritual. She gathered the tools and artifacts needed, assembling them in a sacred space within the attic. The lantern, the journals, and her unwavering resolve stood as symbols of hope against the encroaching darkness. As the appointed hour approached, Abigail steeled herself for the ritual. She called upon her inner strength, drawing upon the stories of resilience and sacrifice that had inspired her along the way. With each step, she embraced her purpose, knowing that her actions would determine not only her own fate but also the liberation of all those who had suffered under the shadow's influence. With trembling hands, Abigail began the ritual, guided by the echoes of the past. She invoked ancient incantations, her voice rising and falling with determination. The attic became charged with an energy both familiar and otherworldly, as if the very fabric of existence responded to her plea for liberation. As the final verse left her lips, the attic was consumed by a blinding light. The shadow writhed and convulsed, its form distorting and contorting in agony. In that moment, Abigail knew that her sacrifice had set in motion the forces of redemption. With a final surge of courage, she shattered the lantern, releasing a burst of pure light that consumed the shadow. It dissipated into nothingness, vanishing from the attic and leaving behind a newfound sense of peace. Abigail collapsed to the floor, physically and emotionally spent. The weight of her sacrifice and the magnitude of her accomplishment settled upon her weary shoulders. But amidst the exhaustion, she found solace in knowing that the attic was finally free, its inhabitants released from the shadow's clutches. As she looked around, a sense of tranquility filled the space. The attic, once a symbol of confinement and fear, now represented liberation and the power of redemption. Abigail had emerged victorious, forever changing the destiny of the attic and all those who would enter it. As the dust settled and the attic basked in newfound tranquility, Abigail took a moment to catch her breath. The weight of her journey lingered in the air, but a sense of fulfillment washed over her. She had broken the cycle of darkness, bringing redemption to the attic and its tormented inhabitants. With the shadow banished, Abigail turned her attention to the legacy it had left behind. She meticulously sifted through the remnants of the journals, piecing together the stories and experiences of those who had battled the shadow before her. Their struggles and sacrifices had paved the way for her own triumph. In the attic's hidden corners, she discovered artifacts and symbols that held significance to the shadow's origins. She unraveled the threads of its existence, tracing it back to a tragic event in the town's history, something that had long been forgotten or deliberately concealed. Determined to unveil the truth, Abigail embarked on a quest beyond the confines of the attic. She ventured into the town, seeking out the elderly and the wise, those who still held fragments of the past within their memories. Conversations with the townsfolk unveiled secrets and whispered legends, revealing the full extent of the shadow's malevolence. Through their accounts, Abigail learned of a curse that had plagued the town for centuries, binding it to a darkness that seeped into every crevice. The attic, with its sorrow-laden history, had become the epicenter of this curse. The shadow was but a symptom of a greater, malignant force that held the town captive. Armed with this knowledge, Abigail resolved to confront the source of the curse, to free the town from its grip once and for all. She delved into ancient texts and sought guidance from mystics, gathering the tools and rituals necessary to break the curse's hold. Back in the attic, she constructed an altar, a focal point for her endeavors. She meticulously arranged the artifacts and symbols, preparing for a confrontation with the darkness that had plagued the town for far too long. Days turned into nights as Abigail immersed herself in research and preparations. She studied ancient incantations, memorizing every word and inflection. Her determination burned brighter than ever, her sense of purpose unwavering. The appointed night arrived, casting a veil of anticipation over the town. Abigail, accompanied by a select few who believed in her cause, ascended to the attic once more. The altar shimmered with the weight of their collective hope, the culmination of their efforts and sacrifices. As the incantations reverberated through the attic, the room transformed into a sanctuary of light. The darkness recoiled, weakened by the onslaught of pure, unwavering intent. Abigail's voice rose, infused with the power of generations, as she called upon the forces of light to sever the town's ties to the curse. With each verse, the curse began to crumble, its hold loosening with each syllable. The darkness fought back, clawing and twisting, desperate to maintain its grip. But Abigail stood firm, an embodiment of hope and resilience. In a surge of luminosity, the curse shattered. The town was freed from the shadows that had plagued it for centuries. Light flooded the streets, banishing the darkness and allowing the people to finally breathe freely. As the attic transformed into a beacon of radiant energy, Abigail realized the magnitude of her accomplishment. Her journey had not only liberated the attic but had extended its impact to the entire town. She had become a guardian of light, ensuring that the legacy of darkness would never again engulf their lives. With the curse broken, Abigail knew her work was far from over. The town needed healing, its wounds still fresh from centuries of torment. But armed with the newfound knowledge and the strength of her own spirit, she embarked on a new mission, to rebuild, to restore, and to ensure that the legacy of light would guide their future. With the curse shattered and the town basking in the glow of newfound liberation, Abigail's journey took a new direction. She dedicated herself to the task of healing the wounds that had festered under the shadow's influence for far too long. In the wake of the curse's demise, Abigail became a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience and redemption. The townsfolk turned to her for guidance, seeking solace and reassurance after years of darkness. She listened to their stories, their fears, and their hopes, offering a compassionate ear and words of comfort. Together with the community, Abigail initiated a process of collective healing. They held ceremonies of remembrance, honoring those who had suffered under the curse's grip. They shared their own experiences, allowing the weight of their burdens to be lifted as they realized they were not alone in their struggles. The attic, once a place of isolation and fear, was transformed into a space of communal gathering. It became a sanctuary where the townspeople could come together, share their stories, and support one another in their journey towards healing. The shadow, now banished, remained a distant memory, gradually fading into the annals of the town's history. Abigail's presence and guidance were instrumental in fostering unity among the townsfolk. Together, they embarked on projects to revitalize the town, breathing life into neglected spaces and embracing a renewed sense of community spirit. Gardens flourished, streets were restored, and a sense of vitality returned to the once burdened town. As time passed, Abigail's efforts bore fruit. The scars of the curse slowly healed, replaced by a thriving community bound by resilience and shared experiences. The shadow's reign had been a catalyst for transformation, teaching them the importance of compassion, forgiveness, and the power of collective strength. Though Abigail had become a revered figure within the town, she remained humble, always emphasizing that the true power lay within each individual. She encouraged the townspeople to embrace their own inner light, to recognize their capacity for resilience, and to continue the work of healing and growth. The attic, now a symbol of triumph and renewal, stood as a testament to their journey. It became a space of inspiration and reflection, a reminder of the town's collective ability to overcome adversity. The stories of those who had faced the shadow's wrath were shared, ensuring that the lessons learned would never be forgotten. Abigail, too, continued her personal journey of self-discovery. She delved deeper into the town's history, unearthing forgotten tales and connecting with long-lost descendants of those who had faced the shadow before her. Through these connections, she fostered a network of support and solidarity, creating a lasting legacy of healing and empowerment. As the town embraced the dawn of a new era, Abigail knew that her role was not yet complete. The shadow's grip had been broken, but its memory lingered as a cautionary tale. She dedicated herself to preserving the town's newfound unity, ensuring that the lessons learned would be passed down through generations. Abigail's legacy extended far beyond the confines of the attic. Her bravery, compassion, and unwavering spirit had changed the town's trajectory, steering it towards a future filled with hope and resilience. The shadow had been defeated, replaced by a collective determination to embrace the light and celebrate the triumph of the human spirit. As the town flourished under the dawn of a new beginning, Abigail's story lived on, a testament to the power of courage, compassion, and the resilience of the human soul. Years passed, and the town thrived under the radiant dawn of a new era. Abigail's impact reverberated through the generations, leaving an indelible legacy of light that transcended time. The attic, once a place of fear and darkness, now stood as a symbol of transformation and triumph. It became a museum, a sanctuary where the stories of the town's past were preserved and shared. Visitors from far and wide marveled at the tales of bravery and resilience, finding inspiration in the journey that had unfolded within those walls. Abigail's memory was immortalized in the hearts of the townspeople. Statues were erected in her honor, and her name echoed through the streets as a reminder of the power of individual courage and collective unity. Her story became a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the face of the darkest shadows, the light within could guide them towards redemption. The town, once burdened by the weight of the curse, flourished under Abigail's legacy. It became a haven for artists, thinkers, and dreamers who sought refuge in its revitalized streets. The energy of creativity and progress flowed through the veins of the town, breathing life into every corner and filling the air with a sense of possibility. The attic remained a sacred space, its walls adorned with art and writings inspired by the journey of Abigail and the battle against the shadow. It served as a gathering place for those seeking solace and inspiration, a reminder of the strength that lies within each person to overcome the darkest of times. Generations came and went, but Abigail's story remained alive in the hearts of the townspeople. They shared her tale with their children and their children's children, ensuring that the lessons learned from their collective history would be carried forward. In the town schools, Abigail's story became a central part of the curriculum. Children learned about the power of resilience, the importance of empathy, and the strength that can be found in the face of adversity. Her journey served as a guiding light for future generations, inspiring them to face their own shadows with courage and determination. As the years turned into centuries, the memory of the shadow became a distant echo. It became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked darkness. The town, now bathed in the perpetual light of unity and compassion, remained vigilant, ensuring that the shadows of the past would never regain a foothold. Abigail's spirit, though long gone, remained present in the town's collective consciousness. Her legacy served as a reminder that even the smallest acts of bravery and kindness can have a profound impact. The light she had brought to the attic and the town continued to shine, guiding the path of future generations. And so, the story of Abigail and the battle against the shadow lived on, whispered through the generations, their voices carrying the message of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. In the town where darkness had once held sway, light prevailed, forever illuminating the path towards a brighter, more compassionate future.